الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين. ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، سيما بقية الله في الأرضين وحجته على الخلق أجمعين، روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. We prepare ourselves with these words, with these salutations, and with these salams. We prepare our hearts, we prepare our minds and our souls for this day. Let us recite this one more time, all together. Assalamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد، فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. يا بقية الله، أجرك الله في مصيبة جدك الحسين. أجرك الله يا بقية الله في مصيبة جدك الحسين. Imam Mahdi is the heir of Imam Hussein. He is the one who carries on the mission of Imam Hussein. And it is said that on this day, Imam Mahdi himself, he does not just cry tears, but it is said that he cries blood for the tragedy of his grandfather, his Jad Hussein Abu Abdullah. And so before we give condolences to one of our brothers or sisters in Iman, we give our condolences to Imam al-Mahdi. Ajjalallah ta'ala. We know that the mission of Imam Hussein did not end on that day, but the mission of Imam Hussein will continue until the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi. And until that time, all of the Shia throughout the world, they will mourn and they will recount and they will remind themselves of the tragedy of Imam Hussein, and they will call out for Allah to fulfill His promise to all of humanity. O Allah, hasten the reappearance of your final Imam. O Allah, take vengeance for the blood of Abu Abdullah, that blood that was spilled on the plains of Karbala, that body that was trampled under the hooves of the horses, that body that was cut to pieces, that body that was pierced with arrows. This is the day of Ashra. We don't need to recount and recite any more musibah. This is the day of Ashura. Imagine yourselves on the plains of Karbala. It is said that these gatherings were begun from the Ahlul Bayt themselves. It is said that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq himself, he said that nafasul mahmumi lana al-mughtammi lidulmina tasbih. The breath that we take, this breath of mourning that we take in and we take out. This breath of mourning itself, tasbih, is a form of worship of Allah. It is recounting and remembering and glorifying Allah. وَهَمُّهُ لِأَمْرِنَا عِبَادَةً. And the mourning of the ibad, the mourning of the servants of Allah for the aza of Abu Abdullah and the Ahlul Bayt is a form of worship of Allah Himself. We're reminding ourselves of the true values and the true missions of Rasulullah. It is said, recounted from the ahadith of Rasulullah, Husaynun minni wa ana min Husayn. Maybe we can understand what it means for Hussein to be from Rasulullah. He was the grandson of Rasulullah. But what does it mean when the Prophet of Islam says, wa ana min Hussein, and I am as well from Hussein? In other words, there isn't two different people, there is one. There aren't two different souls, there is one. There aren't two different missions and values, there is one. If we want to understand Rasulullah, we must understand Hussein. And if we want to understand Hussein, we must understand Rasulullah. And so don't take these moments lightly. The day and the hours are passing us by. This is a day in which we don't need to recount any more of those tragedies that befell Imam Hussein. We should imagine ourselves there on those plains of Karbala. It is said that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, he called out to one of his companions, Aba Harun. It is said that the Imam said, Ya Aba Harun, anshadni fil Hussein. It is said that this companion of Imam Hussein, he says himself, فَأَنْشَدْتُهُ أمرار على جدث الحسين فقل لعظمه الزكية. Pass by the body of Hussein and say to his bones, say to those bones that have been worn over time, that, O bones, O body of Hussein, we will never forget you. O bones of Imam Hussein, you will always be drenched by our tears. You will always be kept alive by the tears of the Shia of the Ahlul Bayt. And it is said that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq began to cry. Abu Harun, he is taken aback. He hasn't seen Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq in this state. It is said that Abu Harun cuts off his words. He stops recounting those lines of poetry. And then Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, he says, more, continue, Abu Harun. يا عظما لا زلت من وطفاء ساكبة روية. And Abu Harun continues his lines until he hears Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq wail and cry out loud. It is said that even the women folk of the family and the household of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq would cry out and cry out, and they would cry out. Each one of us has a culture and a custom. Each one of us remembers our own marhumin and marhumat. It is said that Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq and Imam Reza himself, he said that remember my Jad. Remember the tragedy of Abu Abdullah as you would remember someone, your own mother and your own father, if they were to pass away. How would we cry? How would we shed tears? Put down all of the distractions that are around you. Turn off the lights. Now is the day of Ashura. We don't need anything to take us away from that day and from that memory. We can turn off the lights. We can remember and turn our eyes and our hearts towards Imam Hussein. Imagine you are on those plains of Karbala. What would you see? What would you see? من از کودکی عاشقت بودم قبولم نما گرچه آلودم مبادا برانی مرا از درت مبادا مرا برانی از درت به پهلوی بشکسته مادرت. امروز روز شیون و عزاست، امروز روز زاری و بلاست. خودتون رو تصور بکنین توی کربلا روز عاشورا چه اتفاقی میافتد. خودتون رو تصور بکنین توی خیمگاه امام حسین. اصحاب امام خودشان را آماده می کنند. شب قبل اصحاب هم بشارت می دهند با لبهای خندان، با صورتهای خندان و به هم بشارت می دهند. می گویند فردا ما خودمان را برای اماممان قربانی می کنیم، ولی روز عاشورا که رسید همه اصحاب حلقه بستند دور امام حسین. نمیگذارند یک آسیبی، یک تیری بخورد به اهل بیت و به بنی هاشم. خودشان را سپر می کنند برای امام حسین. It is said that on the day of Ashura, the Ashab were defending the Imam. The night before, the Ashab were happy and they were giving glad tidings to each other with smiles on their faces. They would say that on the morrow we are going to sacrifice ourselves for our Maulana, for Abu Abdullah. But when the day came, they realized that after they are gone, the Imam is going to be all alone. Who is going to defend the Imam after Muslim has been killed, after Habib has been slaughtered on those plains? Who is going to help and defend the Imam after Ali al-Akbar has gave his own life for the Imam? It is said on the night before, the Imam was preparing himself and preparing his camp and his tent for what is going to befall them on the next day. And it is said that at one moment, when the Imam is reciting those lines of poetry, it is said that Lady Zainab, she hears the words of her brother and she cites these words. She calls out, لَيْتَ الْمَوْتَ أَعْدَمَنِي الْحَيَاةِ. Oh my brother, would that I had died and I had not heard you say, I had not heard you prepare yourself for death. Would that I had died and I had not seen this day. It is said that Lady Zainab had been prepared by her own grandfather, Rasulullah. It is said that one day Lady Zainab, she comes and recounts for Rasulullah. This is a day that is spent between Lady Zainab and Imam Hussein. Put yourself in the place of Lady Zainab. You are preparing yourself to see the death of your own brother. You are preparing yourself to see the death of your own sons. You are preparing yourself for imprisonment and chains. You are preparing yourself to gather up the children and to protect them and to defend them. It is said that Lady Zainab one day she came to her grandfather. She says to her grandfather, Rasulullah, "Oh, my grandfather, I have seen a frightful dream. Can you explain this dream for me?" It is said that Lady Zainab, she recounts that dream. She says, "Ya Rasulullah, I saw in my dream in front of me a tree, and then all of a sudden a storm comes and takes away this tree. One after another, the branches of this tree are torn to pieces, and the trunk of this tree itself is torn from the ground. And the only thing that is left is one of the branches of this tree in my arms. And even that is going to be taken away from me by the winds that are blowing and the gusts that come and rip it away from my arms. Oh Rasulullah, what is the interpretation of my dream?" Rasulullah says, "Oh Zainab, oh, there is going to be a day that is going to come. I am the trunk of that tree. There's going to be a day that is going to come, oh Zainab, that I am going to be taken away from you. But at least you will have Ali, your father. You will have Zahra, your mother. You will have Hassan and Hussein, your brothers. But then one after another, they are going to be taken from this world. Zahra is going to be taken from this world. Your father is going to shroud her. Ali, your father, is going to be struck, and he is going to be killed, and he is going to be taken from you, O Zahra, O Zainab. And even your brother Hassan is going to be taken. But you are going to be left with Hussein. And there's going to be a time when Hussein as well is going to be taken. And so Zainab, don't lose hope and don't lose faith. You are going to be dragged through the streets. Zainab, collect your strength. Collect your strength, because you are going to be left to defend the children. And so Zainab, when she hears her brother cite those verses of poetry, she knows that the time has come, and she calls out, "Layt al-maut adabani al-hayat." Oh, that I would have died and not heard these words. But that was last night. Again, today is the day of Ashura. Today is the day when the ashab of Imam Hussein, they are gathered around him. It is said that the ashab, they had promised their Imam that we will not let even a single arrow reach your body, touch any of the Banu Hashim while we are still alive. It is said that in those moments on the day of Ashura, Umar ibn Sa'd, he calls to one of his soldiers, "Prepare for me a bow and an arrow. Give me my weapon. I want all of you to bear witness. أشهد لي عند الأمير أني أول من رمى بالحسين." I want you to bear witness that I am the first to cast my arrow upon Hussein and upon the cap of Hussein. And so it is said that Umar ibn Sa'd, he places that arrow and he casts the arrow towards the camp of Imam Hussein. But then after Umar ibn Sa'd, the army begins throwing and catapulting and casting their arrows towards Abu Abdullah. It is said that so many arrows were in the air. It was almost as though the sky was raining arrows down upon the tent and upon the ashab of Imam Hussein. There was not even one person left whose body was not pierced by an arrow of the enemy soldiers. The tents were pierced, and maybe even the children were harmed by those arrows. And it is said that the ashab, many of them fell even in those first moments of the battle. And yet, they would not let any harm reach Abu Abdullah so long as there was a drop of blood left in their body. But then one after another, they would go out and they would give their life. Muslim ibn Usaja, he would say that I'm going to fight, now is my time. When Habib asks him, oh Muslim, do you have any will or testament that you want me to carry out for you? He says, Usika bihada, oh Habib, oh my companion, oh my friend, I bear witness, protect this man, and yet Muslim is killed. Habib as well gives his life for Imam Hussein. It is said that Habib as well falls to the ground and his head is cut from his body. And all of the ashab, one after another, they go and they give their lives for Imam Hussein. And now it is the time for the Bani Hashim. It is said that Imam Hussein, he sends out his son Ali al-Akbar first to go out into the battlefield to give his life, to give courage to the rest of the Banu Hashim. And before Imam Hussein sends him out, he says, Allahumma kun anta shahidu alaykum. Oh Allah, you bear witness. Allahumma kun anta shahidu alaykum alayhim faqad baraza ilayhim ghulamun ashbahu الناس برسول الله خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا وكنا إذا اشتقنا إلى نبيك فنظرنا إليه ما هر موقعی که اشتیاق و ما هر موقعی که خودمون را میخواستیم یاد رسول خدا بکنیم نگاه میکردیم به صورت علی. الان علی هم خودش را آماده میکند، علی هم روانه قتلگاه می شود و گفته می شود که وقتی که علی می رود به قتلگاه جنگ می کند، علی هم می افتد فقطعوه اربا مثل یک گل پژمرده اعضای بدنش از هم جدا می شود. اربا تا هنگامی که امام حسین می آید بالای سر علی جانی نمانده است، بدنش تیکه تیکه شده است. It is said that by the time Imam Hussein got to the body of Ali, there wasn't even a part of the body of Ali that was left without injury or harm. There wasn't even a part of the body of Ali that was left without an arrow or a sword or a spear having injured it, having pierced it, and the blood gushing forth from the body of Ali. And Imam Hussein calls out to the Banu Hashim, احملوا أخاك. ای پسران بنی هاشم، بیاین بدن برادرتان را برگردانید به خیمگاه. I don't have the strength to bring the body of Ali. Oh, the children of Banu Hashim, oh, the youth of Banu Hashim, come and take the body of Ali back. Until finally, it is said that Abbas comes to Abu Abdullah. It is the moment where Abbas asks for permission from his brother, Abu Abdullah. He says to Hussein, can I now go and give my life in your path? Oh, Hussein, there is no one left. What standard shall I keep aloft? What standard should I carry anymore? There is no more army, oh Hussein. It is just you and me left. And so Imam Hussein gives him permission. But before he goes out into the battlefield, Imam Hussein asks him, do you not hear the cries of these children? Oh, Abbas, Lady Zainab is looking on to see what Abbas is going to do. Sukaina is looking on to see what Abbas is going to do. They have their hopes in Abbas and Abul Fadl. If anyone else is going to let them fall, Abbas is not going to be that person. But Abbas as well, he goes out by the Furat. Abbas as well, he goes out and he fills up that water canister for Hussein, and he brings that water close to his face. But then Abbas as well says, Ya nafsu min ba'd al-Husayni huni لا كنت بعده أن تكوني. Oh, my soul, have patience. Despite your thirst, I will not bear to drink any water before my Maulana Hussein. And so it is said that Abbas as well, he comes towards the camp with lips and with a tongue that was thirsty and that was parched. And so Abbas, when he calls out, Wallahi in qata'tumu yamini inni اوهامی ابداً عن دینی. وقتی که عباس فریاد میکشد که من هیچ موقع هیچگاه از امامم جدا نمیشوم، هیچ وقت امامم را تنها نمیگذارم. ابا عباس ابوالفضل هم دهانش ابوالفضل هم تشنه بود وقتی که دست راستش را قطع می کند. عباس هم تشنه بود ولی به این امید برمیگشت به خیمگاه که حداقل دست چپم است، حداقل این آب را میرسانم به خیمگاه. وقتی که دست چپشم قطع کردن این آب رو با دهنش گرفت، ولی اون موقعی که ناامید شد عباس که تیری به اون وقتی که آب دارد میچکد اون موقع عباس ناامید شد. گفته می شود بر روی سر عباس این دشمنان عباس بر روی سرش می زند، تیری بر چشش فرو می رود. عباس می خواهد بر روی زمین بیفتد ولی بدون دست چجوری بر روی زمین بیفتد. It is said that when Abbas was going back towards the tent, his right arm has been cut off, his left arm has been cut off, the water canister has been pierced with that arrow, his eye has been pierced with another arrow. And it is said that they have struck the head of Abbas, and Abbas is falling to the ground, but he has no hands, he has no arms to break his fall. How does Abbas fall to the ground? The arrow pierces through his head, and Abbas falls on his face. But this is not the azab, this is not the tragedy on this day. It is said that Imam Hussein, there were a few moments when Imam Hussein calls out for all of humanity to hear, هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ضاب يضب عن حرم رسول الله. There were a few moments in which Imam Hussein calls out, is there anyone who will come and help us? All of the companions of Imam Hussein have been killed. All of the Banu Hashim have fallen to the ground. And Imam Hussein has brought them back to their tents. But their bodies are lifeless. Their bodies have been drained of all their blood and all their soul and all their energy. And so Imam Hussein looks to his left and he looks to his right. There is no one left. What does Imam Hussein do? He calls out, هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من رب يضب عن حرم رسول الله. But there is still one soldier left. There is still one infant son that Imam Hussein has to give. And it is said that when Imam Hussein goes back to the tents, he calls out to his sister, O Zainab, Ya Ukhta, O my sister Zainab, Nawalini waladi as-saghir, Hatta uwaddi'ahu. Oh, my sister, give me my infant son so that I can bid farewell. There were moments on the day of Ashura where Imam Hussein came and bid farewell to the camp and to the tent and to the women and the children. One of those moments is when Imam Hussein comes and takes his son Abdullah al-Radi, Ali al-Asghar. But Ali as well is killed. It is said that his head is separated from his body by that arrow. He is cut from ear to ear. من الأذن إلى الأذن. And so Imam Hussein, he digs a shallow grave for his child. And yet, this is not the tragedy of this day. It is said that Imam Hussein, he goes back to the tent. He makes a promise to his women and his children. گفته می شود در آن لحظه های آخر زنها و بچه ها گرد امام حسین می آیند، نمیگذارند امام حسین برود به قتلگاه. سکینه دامن امام حسین را می گیرد، کلثوم ودا میگوید، زینب لباس امام حسین را گرفته است. گفته می شود امام حسین هم ودا میگوید، گفته می شود امام حسین هم خدا حافظی می کند. علیکن من السلام یا زینب یا کلثوم یا سکینه. ولی بدانید من این جمله را میخوانم و هرگاه این جمله را میخوانم بدانید که من هنوز زنده ام، بدانید که من هنوز امید داشته باشید. There are moments on that day when Imam Hussein would go and say farewell, and it is said that in one of those moments Imam Hussein goes back towards the camp. The women and the children circle Imam Hussein. Lady Zainab, Kulthum, Sukaina, Ruqayya, the children of Imam Hussein, they hold on to the clothes of their father. They don't want to bid farewell. But Imam Hussein says, this is the time. I give you my final farewell. But know that whenever I say these words, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. Know that when I say these words that I am still alive. Take hope that I am still alive. Let your souls be at peace, that at least I can still defend you. And so it is said that Imam Hussein would go out and he would fight. And it is said that by the enemies of Imam Hussein, by the enemy soldiers, that Imam Hussein would fight. And he would fight so bravely, like a man we have never seen. A man who his children have been killed in front of his eyes. His companions have been slaughtered on the plains of Karbala. We have never seen a man so brave. We have never seen a man so fearless as we saw Hussein. And so Imam Hussein comes back to the tent. And he says, and he comes back time and time again, back towards the tent. In one of those moments, Lady Zainab, she says, ای یادگار مادرم، ای مهربان برادرم، آهسته رو، آهسته رو، آهسته رو، آهسته رو، کرده وصیت مادرت تا من ببوسم حنجرت، صبری نما تا خواهرت قرآن بگیرند بر سرت، در وقت میدان رفتنت آهسته رو، ahistero. It is said that Lady Zainab, she calls out to Imam Hussein in those final moments. She says, I have this will and testament from my mother Zahra that I must kiss your neck, O Hussein, before you go out. I must bid farewell from not myself but from Zahra herself. Oh Hussein, go slowly because these are the final moments that I can see you alive. Oh Hussein, have this mercy upon me. And so Imam Hussein will go out into the battlefield once again. And yet he would call out, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. And yet there was a moment in which it is said that Imam Hussein, he was out in the battlefield. He is looking back towards his tent to make sure that the enemy soldiers are not going towards his haram. But at one moment on that day, it is said that the soldiers of Umar ibn Sa'd, they circle Imam Hussein and they start to throw whatever they have. Umar ibn Sa'd says to his soldiers, this is the son of Haydar. This is the son of Ali. You cannot fight him in single combat. You must circle Hussein. You must cast at him with whatever you have in your hands. If you have swords, if you have spears, if you have arrows, and if not, pick up the stones and pick up wood. Throw it at Hussein. And it is said that at that moment, the enemy soldiers go towards the tent of Abu Abdullah. When Imam Hussein is still alive, he calls out to the enemy soldiers, if you are not Muslim, then at least be free men in your lives. كن أحرارا في دنياكم كونوا أحرارا. Be free at least in your lives. Be men of integrity and honor until I am alive. Do not go and attack my tent. Imam Hussein is saying this because he knows what is going to come after he is gone. And so it is said that at that moment, one of those stones comes and hits the forehead of Imam Hussein. فلک سنگی فکند از دست دشمن به پیشانی وجه الله احسن. چه زد از کین آن سنگ جفا را شکست آینه ایزد نما را. آن سنگ خورد به پیشانی امام حسین. خون فرو ریخت از پیشانی امام حسین. خون گرفت روی چشمان امام. امام پیراهن خودش را بالا گرفت که این خونها را پاک کند. آن وقت هرمله یک تیری فکند رو بر سینه امام حسین. این خون جاری شد مثل گفته می شود این خون مثل یک دریای جاری شد از سینه امام. امام این تیر را از جلو نکشید، این تیر را از عقب در آورد از بدن خودش. It is said that Imam Hussein, in those moments, a stone comes and hits the forehead of the Imam. He lifts his cloak to come and wipe this blood from his face. And then all of a sudden an arrow strikes the chest of the Imam. And it is said that blood gushes forth like water gushing forth. It gushed forth from the chest of the Imam. and the Imam pulls that arrow from behind. The Imam is losing his energy and his blood, and he falls to the ground. And it is at that moment that the horse of the Imam, it runs back towards the tent. And it is said that the women and the children, they were in the tent. They were waiting to hear the words of the Imam. But now the horse is neighing in front of the tent. They think that the Imam has come back to bid final farewell. But they see that it is only the horse without its rider. And they look out and they see the Imam on the floor of the plains of Karbala. These are the final moments of the life of Abu Abdullah. Lady Zainab goes atop that hill. She is looking on. She is bearing witness. She says, "Oh, Umar ibn Saad, do you not see Hussein on the floor of Karbala? Oh, Umar ibn Saad, do you not see Hussein surrounded by the enemy? Oh, Umar ibn Saad, will you not have any mercy upon us? Wa Muhammadah, wa Rasulah, هذا حسين مرمل بالدماء مقطع أعضاء. Oh Muhammad, oh Rasulullah, this is Hussein who is covered by his own blood. This is Hussein whose body parts are cut off from his body." And it is said that in those final moments when Imam Hussein is upon the ground, none of the enemy soldiers would dare come close to the body of Imam Hussein. It is said that they would strike the Imam with their spears. They would strike the Imam with their swords. They would kick the body of the Imam, but none of them dared to come and give that final blow. And then all of a sudden, it is said that Shimr comes upon the body of the Imam. It is said that Shimr, he was the man of action. It is said that Shimr, he comes and sits upon the chest of the Imam. It is said that Shimr, he pulls the beard of the Imam. It is said that Shimr, he pulls his dagger from its sheath. It is said that at that moment, Shimr cuts the head of Imam Hussein. Umi Davido. These are my final words. Umi Davido. Manmi Davidam. Usuye مقتل منصور قاتل می نشست و من می نشستم او روی سینه من در مقابل. He would sit on top of the body of Imam Hussein, and Lady Zainab is rushing towards the body of Imam Hussein. Umi keshido man mi keshidam او خنجر از کین من آهی از دل. He would pull his sword from its sheath, and Zainab is looking on. She would call out, Wa Muhammadah, Umi burido, man mi buridam, او از حسین سر من از غیر او دل. And he would cut the head of Imam Hussein. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. مات من Hussein.
If I can please have the brothers proceed to the Urdu hall for Matam, the sisters will start coming in here, inshallah.